Round 3. Ugh. Tilt keep. I think if I didn't have another one drop in case I miss a turn, I would have to mulligan, but maybe I should have mulliganed anyway just because the triple War Marshal, no Bushwhacker is not ideal. Yeah, it was probably mulligan. Ooh, they're helping us. Probe usually means storm or infect, in my experience. But modern is a crazy place. Looks like Stormland. Yeah! That is what I'm talking about. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Except it might take a little more. Is the Denizen of Foundry Street getting bolted? No. It's getting pathed? I'll take it. Probe Fountain Path. What are you playing? Joda? Scour yourself. Another path. Intrigue. Missile land drop. More intrigue. The plot thickens. Goblins, goblins everywhere. But nary a drop to drink? What? What is this guy talking about? I don't know. But his opponent is missing land drops despite cantripping a bunch, so that's sweet. The player on the draw with a cantrip missed land drops, but the player on the play with no such thing. Also keeping a one-lander. Snapped it off. Eyebrows raised. Path, path, probe, scour, strand, strand, fountain. Good news is, if my opponent just concedes soon, I will have no idea how to sideboard. Maybe it's just like a tempo deck, like a flash deck? Problem is, Probe and Scour very rarely go in the same deck. Let's do some theory while our opponent tanks. Probe and Scour rarely go in the same deck because they compete for the same slots and do very different things. Scour is looking for a long game, and Serum Vision's alright. A long game, looking for graveyard value, etc. Velocity type things. And Probe is looking for something right now. A good Snapcaster target to go Probe on 1, Snapcaster on 2. Ooh, it might be like Ascendancy? How sick would that be? It might be Storm with Paths or Ascendancy combo. Well, I guess we don't get to find out quite yet. They shouldn't have shown us this. They should have known from their Serum Visions, bottom. So they drew the Steam Vents off of his Serum Visions and then bottomed the other two. Huh. It's hard to say. I don't know what their win percentage is casting the second Serum Visions, but showing us this Steam Vents, we learn a lot from that Steam Vents. I think, even though we saw Path and potentially Bolt, I still think we might want, maybe not the Chieftains, but the Pile Driver. Probe and Scour is so interesting because, I mean, they both work with Snapcaster really well, but it's just a bunch of air, and you can't have like a bunch of cantrips unless you're really doing something with them. Like a control deck just doesn't have that many slots, and a tempo deck doesn't have the time or resources to spend. So, I am a bit confused. Could just be like a Delver deck that has one probe in it for Snapcaster value. Like a Geist of St. Traff Delver deck. That would make sense, right? That would make sense. I think Bolt is a good hedge. If they're Storm, they'll have the Goblin Electromancer, and if they're Ascendancy, sometimes you can get the Fate Stitcher as they're going off or trying to. Plus, if they are combo, just 3 damage to the dome might help us out. Especially if they're doing damage themselves with Fetch Duels and Probe. I think I want to keep Contested Warzone. But I'll lay off the Pile Drivers and Chieftains. I really don't want to get Chieftain remanded, and I really don't want to get Pile Driver bolted or pathed. So we'll just go Frenzied Goblin for a Lightning Bolt as a bit of a hedge, and then hopefully just win this one and not have to worry about it. But if we lose, we'll definitely know how we lost and can re-sideboard more accurately. But Probe, Fetch, and Untap Fountain Path, Scour myself, and Steam Vents just set off a bunch of alarms and red flags and other omens, ill omens, vultures, ravens in the sky, a black cat crossing path. It sounds great. I love that Goblin Guide is like my late game card. Like I go Denizen into War Marshal, into Guide Bushwhacker probably. I choose the power of 7 cards. My opponent has disconnected. Well, I don't think it was a BM disconnect, but we will fast forward. Joda has returned and has laid a Flooded Strand. Definitely don't want to lead with Guide now. No reason to give a Scry, especially when Foundry Street Denizen does about the same amount of damage over the course of the game. Plus, if I'm going to get something pathed or bolted, much rather it be the Denizen rather than the Haster. Strand Vents tapped, Hollow Fountain untapped. So this is just remand straight up, I guess. Or Sleight of Hand Bolt. Or both. Perhaps both. Bushwhacker. Moggy Fight 'em Ups. Don't get snared. That would really stink. But I can't imagine that's what's happening. Yeah, would have bet dollars to donuts it was Bolt. But I would also bet, maybe not dollars to donuts, but like donuts to, like bad donuts to like good classic like buttercream donuts, you know? That there's a remand lurking in my opponent's hand as well. From the fact that they played Hollow Fountain and then started to pass and then changed their mind and sleight of handed. Sleight of hand. How? Wow, how big is my brain? Who sees Ascendancy coming there? That is what comes with an inhuman amount of experience in this format. You can see the weird fringe decks from a mile away. I'm pretty proud of that. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. That was a pretty good one. All right, let's get them while we can. It is pretty cool that we're just gonna race the Ascendancy deck. Although I assume that they have Pyroclasms in their board. Probably not for this matchup, but I bet they're there. And I bet they're gonna be good against us. They're gonna be just as good against us as they would be if they were here for us. There's a lot of like weird elves decks cropping up from time to time in Modern, just as people kind of pump the brakes on the Pyroclasm count to play some more dedicated removal. Elves just resurgence. The fact that there's not a lot of counter magic means that Collected Company keeps resolving. Serum Visions has entered the revealed card zone. and is cast. That does not bode well for the opponent. Literally, if they play Ravduel untapped to Klasm, I have a land to lethal. Oh my god. Waiting for them to pay costs. I'm about to get probed. Probe down to 6? Is that really what you want to do? Guess you don't really have a choice. It's a good feeling racing the unfair combo deck with a fair, like, combo aggro deck. Go down to 4. You really know my hand. Oh, perfect. Put yourself in bolt range. And there's the Klasm. And the scoop. Alright, on to the next one.